Nefertiti. Her name echoes through the ages as a symbol of beauty, power, and mystery. But who was she, really? Most of us recognize her face from that iconic limestone bust, with its perfectly symmetrical features and strikingly vibrant colors, preserved for more than 3,000 years. But beyond the visage lies a story, a narrative woven with political intrigue, religious revolution, and a quest for power in one of history's most captivating civilizations, ancient Egypt. Nefertiti lived around 1370 to 1330 BCE, during a period of profound transformation in Egypt. She was the great royal wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten, the enigmatic ruler who turned Egypt on its head by introducing a radical new form of monotheistic worship. Together, they stood at the center of one of the most dramatic periods in Egyptian history. But Nefertiti was not just a queen by name. She was an active co-ruler, a woman whose influence reached far beyond the palace walls. Let's step back in time. Imagine Egypt in the 14th century BCE, a land of gods and temples, of powerful priests and ancient traditions. Into this world, Nefertiti emerged, her origins shrouded in mystery. Was she a commoner, elevated to greatness by marriage? Or was she of royal blood, born to rule alongside Akhenaten? Some scholars suggest she was the daughter of a powerful courtier, who would later become Pharaoh himself. Others believe she may have been a foreign princess, brought to Egypt to secure alliances and cement power. The truth remains hidden in the sands of time. But one thing is clear. Nefertiti was destined for greatness. From the moment she appeared on the scene, Nefertiti's presence was felt. She is often depicted standing side by side with Akhenaten, not in a passive, subservient role, but as his equal, a partner in rule. Together, they forged a new religious path for Egypt, abandoning the old gods in favor of Aten, the sun disk. This was a radical shift, a seismic change that shook the very foundations of Egyptian society. Imagine the uproar, the confusion, the resistance from those who clung to the ancient ways. But Nefertiti stood firm, not just as a queen but as a high priestess of the new faith, a living representation of Aten on earth. Their reign saw the construction of a new capital, Akhetaten, or modern-day Amarna, a city built from scratch in honor of the Aten. The city rose quickly, filled with grand temples, palaces, and homes for the elite. And at the center of it all, Nefertiti, her image carved into the walls, shown offering prayers, performing rituals, and even smiting enemies alongside Akhenaten. Her prominence was unusual, even unprecedented. No queen before her had ever been depicted in such a powerful, active role. But what drove Nefertiti to embrace this new faith so fervently? Was it true devotion? Or something more pragmatic? Some historians argue that Nefertiti was not just a figurehead, but a political strategist, using the new religion as a tool to consolidate power and diminish the influence of the traditional priesthood. By shifting focus to a single god, Aten, and placing themselves as the divine intermediaries, Nefertiti and Akhenaten effectively centralized religious and political power. They controlled the temples, the wealth, and the narrative of the divine, and in doing so, they controlled Egypt. Yet this radical experiment came at a cost. The people of Egypt were deeply rooted in their traditions, their gods, their way of life, and the sudden shift to monotheism did not sit well with many. There were murmurs of dissent, of unrest. The priests of Amun, whose power was directly threatened by the new order, quietly plotted, waiting for the right moment to strike back. But Nefertiti remained a visible, unwavering supporter of Akhenaten's vision. Her role was not confined to the shadows. She stood in the light, actively participating in state affairs, diplomacy, and religious ceremonies. Her strong, confident presence suggested that she was much more than just a consort. She was a co-ruler, perhaps even co-pharaoh. As we dig deeper into her life, we find that Nefertiti's beauty was not just a physical trait but a carefully crafted image, a symbol of the new religious ideology. The famous bust discovered in Amarna, with its exquisite craftsmanship and vibrant colors, was likely more than just a portrait. It was a political statement. Her elongated neck, perfectly symmetrical face, and serene expression all embody the ideals of the Atenist faith. This image of Nefertiti, with her high, flat-topped crown and almond-shaped eyes gazing calmly into eternity, was meant to project divine perfection and an unshakable devotion to the Aten. Her influence extended beyond the visual arts. Nefertiti's role in the court was one of unparalleled authority for a queen. She participated in diplomatic correspondence, receiving foreign dignitaries, and even overseeing military campaigns. It is said that her wisdom and diplomatic skills helped maintain Egypt's sphere of influence amidst the shifting alliances of the ancient Near East. At a time when most queens were relegated to the background, Nefertiti's involvement in state affairs was groundbreaking. It sent a clear message that she was not just a passive observer, but an active shaper of Egypt's destiny. And then, she vanished. Suddenly, mysteriously. The historical records grow silent, and the question arises, what happened to Nefertiti? Did she die? Was she exiled? Or did she ascend to an even greater role? Some theories suggest that she might have taken on a new identity as Nefertiti, a female pharaoh who ruled in the years following Akhenaten's death. There is even speculation that she could be the same person as Smenkhkare, a shadowy figure who briefly ruled Egypt in the period before Tutankhamun's reign. If true, this would mean that Nefertiti not only ruled as queen, but also took on the mantle of a king, perhaps to stabilize the throne and ensure the continuation of her husband's legacy. This would make her one of the very few women in ancient history to rule Egypt as a pharaoh in her own right, a remarkable achievement that speaks to her ambition, intelligence, and determination. But as the Atenist experiment faltered and the old gods began to resurface, Nefertiti's fate became even more obscure. The traditional priesthood, led by the priests of Amun, regained their strength, and the new religion began to crumble. By the time Tutankhamun, Akhenaten's young son, came to the throne, the old ways were being restored. The city of Akhetaten was abandoned, and the memory of Akhenaten's radicalism was slowly erased from the annals of history. Yet, even in this return to orthodoxy, Nefertiti's memory endured. Her image, immortalized in that famous bust, survived the ravages of time. Today, she captivates us as much for what we do not know as for what we do. She was a queen, a priestess, a potential pharaoh, a woman whose beauty was matched only by her ambition and intellect. Her disappearance has fueled countless theories, each as fascinating as the next. Could it be that she simply died of natural causes, her death unceremoniously recorded to protect her husband's legacy? Or did she play a pivotal role in the transition of power, perhaps guiding the young Tutankhamun and ensuring a return to the old ways? Some speculate that Nefertiti may have been quietly ousted by the powerful priesthood, who saw her as a threat to the traditional religious order. As we gaze upon her likeness, it's easy to get lost in those eyes, to wonder what secrets they held, what dreams she dreamed, what battles she fought behind the scenes of history. Nefertiti's story is not just a tale of beauty, it's a story of power, faith, and the struggle to shape a world according to one's own vision. And perhaps that is why she remains so compelling, so enduring, even after more than 3 millennia. If you found this journey through ancient Egypt as captivating as we did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Historical Highway for more intriguing tales from the past. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep the flame of history alive.